Oh, we're going to, all right, we're going to have somebody calling. We're on the air. We're going to have somebody calling in too, okay?
About 7, 10, 7.
All right, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, welcome to another, I always want to say episode. I don't know what, like, I watch too much TV there, because, like, welcome to another episode. No, welcome to another Girls Gabbin radio show. Today is Sunday, October the 27th.
Yes.
Yes, and it's been a busy weekend. We're hearing a little noise in the background.
It was when I moved my mic,
so
we're gonna keep on pushing.
Yeah, we're gonna keep on moving. But yeah, it's been a really busy weekend.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm pooped. I really
sure.
am.
I am sure.
So,
congratulations.
well, real quick, I actually have launched my own publishing company. And yesterday we actually drove down to New York, and we had a billboard reveal for my very first co-author book.
That's right.
Under my publishing company.
Oh,
So it was kind of a double whammy. And all of the co-authors, we all met down in New York and had some good food if y'all heard of Dallas barbecue, it's like, oh my gosh, the food is good. We went there first, got something to eat, and they do three, they view it three times they put it up there. So it was really cool. It was the first time that anybody except the co-authors had seen the billboard because someone designed it for us. And the first time that they were seeing their names and their faces up on the billboard in New York,
That's really
Times
cool.
Square. And people were walking past and looking like, what are you making all that noise for? So it was kind of cool. And actually a couple of books were sold while we were there. So I'm really excited about it. The book signing is on November 9th in Largo, and we do have an event out there on Facebook. So we're hoping everybody will come through and support the authors, but it's called Unleash Your Superpowers, and it's 6 extraordinary stories about discovering and accepting the power within. So we actually revealed last Sunday.
We did.
They came into the
our
studio
show,
and
awesome.
they revealed their superpowers. So we had a superhero party.
Yes,
That's
we
cool.
did.
I saw those photos. I was like, oh, yeah.
It was so much fun.
We had
and
fun.
Yeah, we did. We
really did.
look, Andrea had her shirt on
I
too.
did. I was in support of
And
the
that's right, she was a superhero,
Support
and we
the
held
family.
up our little signs. We just had a little fun with it, because sometimes things get so, serious. So it was like, what's your superpower? So mine is forgiveness. So my story is about forgiveness, but there's some powerful stories in there. So yeah, I'm tired because we didn't get back until maybe midnight last night,
wow.
because we decided to stay and hang
Of
out and
course.
do the double-decker bus ride, and
Well, I was going to ask you, y'all stayed for all 3 showings, right?
Right, but they were
Okay.
close.
It was like
So it was
1:30,
like a minute
2:30.
apart.
Oh, okay.
And we had already had something to eat. So everybody kind of ventured out. Quite a few of them have family down there.
Right.
They brought
Y'all had
cousins
a
and
lot of
uncles, and
people.
yes, it was wonderful. I mean, and that's what made me, I was like, I love this, because everybody was so excited about it. I gave them shirts last week, so they wore their shirts, and I actually had I didn't know if you know, somebody was gonna say, I had a scarf that I actually Googled and found a superhero scarf, and it had all of the Bam Pow Shazam
good.
I know exactly.
colors on there, and I had it on yesterday. I was like, this is perfect. I'm gonna wear that again too. It wasn't just
Should've wore today.
I know I should. Actually, it's in my trunk. Yeah. But we had a good time. So it's been busy, but
Hello?
we got a
Hello?
call.
Okay. I don't know if she can hear me. I did see someone call in. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Okay.
interrupt you.
And we have
I
a
did
caller
see someone.
coming in. So but it was a great time. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, congrats.
And I think we have a caller coming in, so we'll have her just join us and listen in as we go through.
Right. Is there Angie? Angie, if you can hear me, if not, try to hang up and call right back. I don't know if she can hear me or not.
Okay, let me make sure this is not.
She on your live?
I don't see
Which
her.
would be awesome. So we had a very good time. Kudos to everybody. They extraordinary team of 6 people. I mean, they're very, very
Very cool.
extraordinary.
We have
The
fun here.
stories that they had. I started reading my book, but I'll wait till you do your release. The book signing.
Oh.
Before.
Then you
sold
could,
some, but you haven't really released
right,
it.
Right. No, it's released as of yesterday.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Yeah,
okay.
as of yesterday, it is out there on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble. It's available in Kindle and paperback, so you can go out there and get a copy. Or hit me up if you want a signed copy. So
that's something to think about too, like what your superpower is. Like I'm
right.
sitting here in my mind, I'm like, Dad, what? That is a good question. Like what?
And really, and the question was posed because I want it, and it doesn't have to be something you're good at, and everybody had their own take on what they thought it was, but it was like something that you're not necessarily good at or might not even like to do, but it's something that is kind of a gift to you. So mine is forgiveness, because I did have a lot of moments where it's kind of natural to me to do that, but I didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want to forgive because it was like, why am I supposed to be? So it was something I was kind of, it's who I am. So it is kind of my superpower, because sometimes your superpower is something that you're just given, and then you have to use it.
You have to deal with it.
Yeah, you have to use it.
It's being a giving person.
Giving person.
Sometimes I give a lot and I don't expect anything in return. But sometimes when things come up, when I know that I may question, well, as much as I do for you or for people, it's not reciprocated or they're not grateful. But and I never say I'm not going to do it again.
Well, and that's what it is, because even though you don't get what you feel like you should from it, you still do it again, and that's what I consider kind of your superpower. Because it's pros and cons. You think about Superman, and he has all these things, but kryptonite will take him down, and he didn't actually ask for it. It's just kind of what he's supposed to do. So. Yeah, it was kind of cool. So y'all check it out. But this was a big weekend for that. So now I'm tired and I'm ready. But I was looking forward to this show because you all, the mental health awareness and breast cancer, you all hit all the points that we have been talking about all month in October, and to have a loaded show with that kind of those testimonies and stories and things, it's just like, oh, I can't wait. So
this has been exciting.
Yes,
just
we're happy to have you
for y'all to come on the show.
Yes, because this is
I'm
good
glad
stuff.
you guys. I'm glad to be here. It's
good.
always good to talk about, bring awareness, and obviously throughout the week, you have conversations with different people, and it's interesting because there were a few conversations I've had with different people, talking about the topic or needing help or resources. So it's always good to kind of, also just bring awareness on shows like this to kind of reach other people who may be going through the same thing, because there's so many groups now.
They are.
And it's incredible because now people are more open to talk about it. And now you can really start to see how aware people are. And even when it comes to breast cancer awareness, as well, just kind of knowing how to take care of your body, how to do certain things, how to be a caregiver, which is also important on both sides, how to care for someone who is ill regardless of what the illness is.
Right. So this is a very important.
It's very important.
And a great way to end the month. Too.
Absolutely, and especially I want to piggyback off of what you're saying, Ty. Understand that this is health overall awareness that we are elaborating on this whole month, because there's so many things involved with this month alone. But previously in September was like prostate cancer and things that are geared towards men, so we don't want to forget that. But it's being overall, Ty being on the show and speaking on being a mental advocate, it is for both men and women. I know Girls Gabbin, we represent women, but we want our fellas to know that there is support overall.
Yes.
So we're trying to just make sure that everybody knows about it. This is Suicide Prevention Month, as well as Mental Health Month, as well as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There's a lot going on. It's a lot that needs help with.
So never too early, too late to talk about this kind of stuff.
Never.
And so it won't be just in October, but definitely in October.
Absolutely.
So
the call was muted. I did get it unmuted. So if you can reach out to Angie and let her know she can call back in at any time, I can just pick her back up.
Okay. So you want to go ahead and start, and then I'll catch her and hot seat time. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Tanisha, correct.
Oh,
Tanisha Ty Floyd. We're going to get that out of the way.
Hello.
Hey, Angie, how are you?
I'm good. Doing well.
Hi, Angie.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you stay on for the whole show, or do you have something you need to do?
I'm available. I'm
Okay,
here.
so can you stay on with us, and we're gonna Andrea's gonna start, and then we're gonna move around, and we'll grab you in. But we're hoping that you can stay on and listen in.
Yes.
And ask
Okay,
questions or
okay.
whatever whenever
Yes,
you want
please.
to.
Okay. I will.
All
Okay.
right. So, Tanisha, let me start again with your name. Tanisha Ty Floyd is a business management graduate from Kaplan University, but has dedicated most of her career to media arts, marketing, as a project manager, actress, and broadcast personality. She recently began her journey as a mental health advocate in 2016, with a major focus on women, mothers, and children who live with depression and anxiety disorders. Ty is the author of Project Me, 30 Days to a Better You, which is an empowerment journal for self-care. She is also the CEO and founder of Awesome Women of Empowerment, Inc., which is a 503 nonprofit organization whose mission is to educate, support, and empower those living with mental conditions. In addition, Tanisha, or Ty, we're going to go from there, sits on the board of I Just Want to Help Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization geared towards teen parenting, child molestation advocacy, and providing food and hygiene resources for low-income families. Please help me welcome Tanisha Ty Floyd.
Welcome to Gabbin.
Welcome, girl.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, thank you for coming.
Yeah, so I'm, like I said, I'm always happy to like just share, just the background behind just how I wanted or became a mental health advocate. And it did start from, my whole background is in media and in marketing. Just as you read and that I'm listening to it, like, what do I need to update this like this thing? But yeah, so I started out, doing radio, doing television, radio, a lot of that stuff, and then probably in 2015, 2016, I took a break. I had, my own radio show, and I decided to take a break because I wanted to focus on something else that was more of a purpose. Like, this is something that really I could kind of really feel. And during that time, it was just a stressful period. I, not just for myself, but for others around me. And I'm an empath, so anybody that's feeling certain things, I was gonna say that's my superpower, but I was like, I don't know, it could be kind of kryptonite too.
Right.
But yeah, I had just one of those breakdowns, that I think a lot of mothers go through. Men go through it too, but it's totally different. But yeah, just had one of those things where I was just doing too much. And motherhood and being a mother is another kind of full-time job too. Yes. So just trying to balance, how you think your life should be versus how, okay, wait a minute. So even with that, and then also I had a high school friend who had who died by suicide. So that just kind of helped just bring up just so many deeply rooted type of feelings, like just really taking control of my mental health, and that meant seeking therapy, really kind of diving into what are the reasons, why am I feeling the way that I feel. Or I remember sitting with a therapist and just was like, what is wrong with me, like, because I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, I'm all over the place. And then my job, and on top of that, was also extremely stressful, so I had to take time off from that, just to really get myself together. And it was eye-opening. I started the journal, Project Me, because writing is one of the things that is therapeutic. Being able to just write down your thoughts is another form of just venting and just kind of really getting certain things out. So I did that, and I felt that it would probably be helpful and inspirational for someone like me. And I always say a mother like me or a woman like me. And then even with forming the all group, Awesome Women. It is, you know, I have people say, well, what about the men? And I'm like, you know what? Men are very important. I can't speak from a man's perspective. However, luckily, there were a lot of men, Black men too, who were forming their own kind of mental health organization. So being able to see them, partner with them, and kind of grow with them, and then also evolve with changing certain dialogue, not just making it about women, but how can this be about families? You know, how can it be, you know, not only is it just affecting, you know, the mother, it's affecting the child, it's affecting the husband, just everybody in general. So it really started taking, you know, just evolving to just helping to find resources for other people like myself, or who weren't like myself, who, like I said, caregivers, someone who's caring for someone who's dealing with a mental health condition. And there are a lot of people walking this earth, you know, just even your neighborhood. You can't even imagine what someone's going through inside their home. And with the rising case of suicide, even with children, you know, I also decided to kind of focus on children as well when it came to that by writing a children's book geared towards, it says, Mommy's Sad and I Don't Know Why. That's basically the title. But yeah, so, and it's kind of just, shout out to Cyrus Webb because he helped me. It was one of those things.
Yes.
It was one of those things where I was just sitting, I was just having a moment, and I was like, let me write. And then it just kind of I just sat and wrote it, and I got connected through him, through Anthony Tillman, so I got to shout him out. And he helped me so much throughout the process. Cause I was
Cyrus
like,
is awesome.
yeah, he is, and he is so supportive.
He is.
He's just, he's awesome.
And he's doing it.
He's really doing it. So I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad I can say I work with you. So
Right.
you get it all big.
He's
But yeah,
doing it.
I mean, the illustration and everything, you know, we got it to a T, and just, he wanted to make it personable, you know, which I also wanted to as well, because I've had those moments where I'm trying to figure out how to communicate with my son how I'm feeling, you know,
without it being
too much.
Right.
But, you know, when you start going through this journey of mental health and healing, you start learning boundaries. And everybody should have boundaries.
Yes.
I don't care who they are.
Yes.
So it was about also teaching my son certain boundaries, and learning, you know, how to, not only for me, but for himself, learning how to deal with, understand his mental health. Because, you know, a lot of mental health or mental health conditions, illnesses, they can be genetic. So, you know, you have to really, when you are, you know, someone who has been diagnosed with any kind of mental disorder, you have to really look at it like, okay, how will this affect my child by it being genetic? So, but yeah, in 2016, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, which is also kind of like a mood disorder. And some of my friends used to joke with me and always say I was kind of bipolar. So I was just kind of like, well, it could be true. I mean, now it may be very well true. But yeah, so yes, that's why I talk a lot about depression, depressive disorder, anxiety, which sometimes they all go hand in hand. And just for people to understand like what depression is, I mean, there's situational depression. You know, there could be a situation you're dealing with. You go through, you know, that moment of sadness.
Right.
There's seasonal depression, where when the seasons change, your whole mood, personality change. But then you kind of, you know, overcome it. There's, you know, just mild depression, where it's just kind of like, you know, certain moments, certain things. And then you have major depression, where it can last, you know, for maybe longest, you know, maybe 3 weeks to years. And the real thing about it is, how do you get help when you're going through that, or when to know to get help? Because, you know, especially if you're a working mom, you're busy, you're not focusing on you. You're really not. I mean, you're focusing on doing what you need to do to get, you know, put food. Exactly. You're not focusing on that. So when you really take the time to focus, and like now a lot of physicians, you know, they ask the questions like, have you been sad? how many times are you sad throughout the week, and you sit there, you're like, oh wow,
I didn't realize.
I didn't even realize I was feeling like this.
Right.
So when I had that questionnaire sitting in with the therapist, and they was just like, yeah, you definitely sound like you need to,
Carrying.
you're carrying a lot. So I think it's really important for people to hold themselves accountable when it comes to their health of any kind. And I think it's extremely important that if you see signs of, you feeling a certain way, which seems just, it's, I want to say abnormal, because, to a certain extent, you already know, okay, this doesn't feel right.
Right.
Even though you keep doing it, you still know it's not feeling right.
Blow it off.
Yeah, you blow it off.
Minimize it, right.
Take that moment to really start putting yourself first. And that was the gist behind Project Me, was like putting myself first, putting my energy into understanding how I am, who I am,
right.
what I need to make myself happy. Because when you're dealing with depressive disorder, anything, I mean, you're just unhappy about anything. I mean, you can have the whole world, you can have a good, job, you can have a good family, but you're unhappy.
Yeah.
You're unfulfilled. You're feeling this type of way. So it's really important to start to learn yourself and to learn what it is now that triggers those type of moments, but also just kind of how you can get out of it. How can you live with it and live with it to where you are satisfied, where you're not at risk of getting so low to where you want to you have those suicide ideations and things like that. And that's true. I mean, there's moments. I mean, I write for Rally Up magazine, and the last article we talked about, what was that base? The last article we talked about was
what's going on over there?
We talked about suicide ideation, and that's just those things where you're like, you're not going to commit suicide. You're probably not going to take your life, but you think about it all the time. Or it's one of those things where you're driving and you're just like, oh, if this truck just hits me one good time, maybe I'll flip over. I mean, and that's just kind of that's just kind of real of how your thoughts can go. It just comes in and it goes out. And it's very real. And when you are someone who's living with a mental health condition, you really have to take that seriously.
Right, you do.
You have to take it seriously.
Because you don't know when it's that moment that you missed.
It's that breaking moment where you're just like,
and you let it go, and then
exactly. And it's extremely. I mean, it breaks my heart every time I hear about anyone. Either they tried to commit or they did actually succeed and they died by suicide, because you never, like I said, you never know what a person's going through,
really
but
don't.
The pain that's associated with that feeling of just you want that pain to go away.
Right.
And for me to know how that feels, and then to know like, wow, I'm still here, but this person, they just couldn't make it through.
Right.
It's just very, very heartbreaking. And now, CDC has kind of reported, we're talking about the children now, even more than adults, which is even scarier.
Right. Really young.
Really young. And I have conversations with my son all the time. That's my dude. So he's like, I try to educate him as well as kind of learning about his classmates or different things like that, because
that's important.
Yeah, I mean,
very important.
Certain things that people feel are taboo, you have to talk about it, because it could save your life, it could save someone else's life. And I think, for me, having to deal with depression and stuff since I was probably like a teenager, and just kind of being up and down with it, and now at this age, decades or more later, I'm not gonna say my age, but like, it's just like,
we got you,
right.
So
I'm like,
truly do.
I'm like, now just finally being, kind of, I guess, being true to it, if that's a good way of putting it, like really finally taking it serious.
Right.
It's just, I feel, it's been a great journey. It's been hard. It's been hard, even with the all group. Like, I've had moments I've had to pause on that because sometimes it's just too much. And although every day is a trigger, I know now what my trigger points are sometimes.
You get stronger.
You have to get, so I'm quick. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't because I already know what the dark side is, and I also know where, how I am when I'm feeling much better. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. I'm grateful for everyone, who supported it, who's, those who actually trusted in me to kind of be that ear as well, for, if they needed help with someone, a friend, a loved one, or just with themselves, I'm not like, I'm still learning myself as I go along. I have my highs and my lows, but I always try to encourage everyone to, to do what's best for them, to do what's going to be good to make them happy, to do what's going to be good to make them, live this joyous life. And then you can go ahead and spread it to everyone else. But you have to make sure that your cup is full.
Right.
You have to make sure that you're having self-care, that you're taking care of your whole self.
Absolutely.
So it's even more than just mental health. It's about mental wellness. It's about self-love, loving yourself to the point to where certain situations, even though they may be traumatic at that time, you know how to handle them.
Right.
There's a lot of women that have dealt with a lot of traumatic experiences, whether it's health-related experiences or, domestic violence, which is a huge traumatic, traumatic kind of experience that a lot of women face. I mean, you have to have that support system, as well to kind of help you through those type of things. So.
Well, and that's why it's good to have you share that, because there's a lot of women going through all of those things and that aren't talking to anybody. Right. So even if they're nervous about telling someone, they don't want to be judged, whatever the reasons are. This actually, to me, this platform is why we're doing what we're doing, because you can listen in and nobody has to know what your journey is, but you can still get the information you need. And then see that there are other people that are going through the same thing. And I understand your triggers. I mean, anxiety and all of that stuff contributes to that. And I've been through, situations where I was like, what is wrong with me? But I felt off. But I think you got stronger along the way. And that's why now, when you feel that way, even with anxiety, me having had a panic attack before, now when I feel a certain way, I know what to do to bring myself back to, okay, I gotta either step away, move away from the room, change my thoughts. I don't know sing happy birthday, whatever it is, that gets me back on. Okay, Lisa, no, we're not going that way. So, I mean,
and it's
this
important.
is perfect,
and that's a form of self-care and self-love. Like you have to love yourself enough to know, hey, I need to take a step back, or I need to I just need to boundaries. Right. I need space from this for right now.
And it's necessary.
It's extremely necessary. It's extremely necessary. I mean, anyone that talks to me about their job, and I'm just like, listen, I've been there where I've been on stressful jobs and they stress me all the way out. And at the end of the day, it's like, even though it's your career, you have to kind of figure out, okay, is it good for me?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth
to consume you?
I mean, that position where I had left, I mean, it was a great experience career-wise, but it broke me all the way down. Right. And it was one of those things where I was just like, this is just not, no. I mean, I'd rather change my whole entire field if I have to feel or be that, in that environment.
Yep.
So it's so important, and it's embarrassing when you are someone that's dealing with certain things, like when people don't want to speak up, they don't want to talk about it. I think a lot of it has to do with just being embarrassed, because some people, you never know how people are going to judge.
Right.
It's like, should I speak up? Should I say something? Or are they going to feel like I'm weak? Or are they going to feel, I mean, it's just so many different questions. But it's important.
Absolutely.
I mean, it takes great courage to speak up, because you never know. I mean, me doing that for myself, I've been around a lot of people who has helped me along the way. who's been my support system, who has taught me certain things, who's, you know, allowed me to just really be myself without feeling like, oh, I'm saying something that's going to be, you know, they've allowed, exactly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I encourage anyone that's listening in, whether you're in, you know, a violent relationship, whether you're just grieving someone, if you're, you know, dealing with any kind of illness or anything, like, your story will always, it can change or help somebody else.
Absolutely.
It's like a Me Too.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
And you shouldn't let anybody minimize.
No.
You know, we do a well enough job of doing that for ourselves, because I know I minimize my traumas because everyone else is. I think it's so much. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes that's a no. You know, it's a big deal.
A lot of us walk around with masks on our face because we're not want either people to know, like you said. It could be the embarrassment or just not knowing. And some people are scared to reach out. I mean, some people used to take therapy or therapists and think that was something you don't need to go to when you're totally just lost your mind in a sense.
Which is
not true. Right, it's so not true, and it's so helpful because therapists actually are there for the purpose of helping you. So it's really important.
Yeah. Really I'm big on go to therapy. Talk to someone. Talk to somebody. You know, I mean, talk to someone. I mean, you could, like I said, you could write. You know, that's kind of talking to yourself and kind of getting things out, which is extremely important.
Letters around the house. Talking to a few other people too, but I didn't send them.
I mean, but you have to talk. You have to get it out.
Put a stamp on it, but I had to get it out.
I mean, that's a good idea.
Because when you go back and read that,
you're like, wow.
I read them now sometimes and say,
I was really
I was mad. You know, I had some
you
stuff
gotta
on
get
my
that
mind.
stuff out. But that's a good idea, though. Like, right? If you harboring something and you're like, you know what, I need to get this off my spirit and just start. I mean, it's like a, you know, your shoulders, you know, just become real light. Yeah. So that's a great idea, actually.
That is awesome, honey. I commend you, and I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. These projects are. Tell us, these groups that you have, are they open for other women, or how can they hear about them, or how does it work with that, and then how they can reach out to you, as well as your book?
So both of the books, Project Me, 30 Days to a Better You, and Mommy Said and I Don't Know Why, it's available on Amazon. Okay. So you can go there, as well as my website, Ty Flood, TYI Flood, FLOOD.com. I thought about it like, is that right? Also, Women of Empowerment. It's a resource group. You can go online, theallgroup.org. And it's not really a situation where you're joining necessarily at this moment, but it's more so, you know, if you need resources, we have pages on there that helps with resources of, you know, local places, or even national kind of places where you can contact them and get certain resources. A lot of people, they message me, they email, and I accept all of that. I mean, however way you want to reach out to me, I'm available, and I will try to help as much as I can. I am a mental health first aid, so I try to use that, you know, that education and, you know, help someone else. We actually just had a mental health first aid class earlier this year, and I'm thinking about maybe hosting another one. And basically, being a mental health first aider is just about is learning about mental health and how to aid someone who is maybe going through a certain, you know, situation where there's a lot of mental illnesses out there. So it teaches you all that and how to handle it and help someone.
Now, do you, how about on Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook, at Ty Flood, TYI Flood. Instagram is Mental Wellness Junkie, but you can type in Ty Flood. The All Group is all over as well. Yes, and those glasses. I'm trying to get rid of those things, so hit me up.
Why? They are beautiful.
Because I need to restock. So I do have on tyflood.com shirts. Mental Wellness Junkie shirts and glasses. Yeah.
Love it.
So hopefully next year, like I said, I've taken a pause with the All Group a little bit as far as events like we were doing certain events, support groups is a number one thing. So hopefully next year we'll start ramping that back up.
Okay. So keep us
Yeah,
posted
I
so we
will.
can share.
So we can
I
share
will.
with
Absolutely.
everyone. And thank you so much, Ty.
No,
Yes,
thank
You
you.
will stay right here as we continue to go around this table.
Yeah, we're gonna
going.
grab Angie just in case she has to leave.
Okay.
So Angie, are you still
Yes.
there? Okay.
I'm still here.
So what we're gonna do is, because I decided, because I want you all to really share your stories, and we actually have two guests who actually are conquerors, survivors of cancer twice. So we have two-timers. But we want Angie.
Wow.
I want you to just kind of tell your story. I know you do a lot, so I don't want you to forget.
Yes.
And I don't know what it's called again with the aerial dance.
Yes,
make sure
aerial dance,
Yeah,
yes.
make sure you include that because I want to hear more about
Okay.
that. But tell us a little bit, and I'll give a background on Angie. Angie and I
Okay.
went to Spelman together.
Okay.
We actually stayed in the same dorm, Packard Hall, which was the oldest dorm on the campus. We had no air conditioning. As a matter of fact, we were both in the annex, which was really heat.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we were hot. But loved Angie from freshman year. She is a ball of energy, and probably still is.
Yes.
I can see from
Yes,
the
I
videos.
still am.
Yeah. But Angie, tell us a little bit about you, your jewelry line, but also your journey.
Okay. Should I start from the very beginning with the first diagnosis?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm a mom, 3 kids, 3 girls, as a matter of fact. And back in, when was that? 2006. Well, actually 2005.
Okay.
I was up. Glad you mentioned the jewelry. I was up making jewelry, and I actually dropped a bead in my shirt. And when I went to reach to find the bead in my shirt, that's when I found the lump in my breast.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, if it wasn't for, I was making a necklace for you remember Kathy Smith, Lisa,
Yes,
for her wedding.
absolutely.
It was for her
Wow.
wedding.
Wow.
And I was trying to hurry up and get it done late at night, and if it wasn't for that, I would have. Yeah. I don't know when I would have found that lump. Because I was only 37. And my last visit to the doctor, she discussed whether I should get a mammogram, but she didn't think that I needed to get one at the time, and said that we would wait till I was
because you were a little
40.
early, right?
Yeah, I was early, but she did do a breast exam. She did a breast exam. She didn't find anything, and then 4 or 5 months later, I found a lump in my breast.
Wow.
So yeah, so 2006, I went. I mean, it was pretty aggressive. Went through, several rounds of chemo, and had my surgery in between, and had radiation for like 18 weeks. I had to get just a lumpectomy the first go around. She thought she thought my breast could be saved, so she said I had the option to do a lumpectomy, so I took it.
Okay.
Did a lumpectomy. I think about 2 years of treatment. I also had to do like this new drug to help target the type of cancer that I had. So yeah, I thought I was home free.
Right.
Yeah, cancer free. But I will say after that, that's when I stopped making excuses for myself. I stopped being scared. I stopped feeling guilty about everything, and I too suffered from panic and anxiety before I even had cancer. So I was going through, and I'm sure a lot of it just had so much to do with me not taking care of myself, not focusing on me, not doing things to make me happy. And so I was taking like antidepressants even while going through cancer treatment. But after going through that, I just made the conscious decision just to get out and do a lot of things that I wanted to do. Because at that point, it was like, okay, who's going to stop me?
Right.
Who's going to say anything?
Right.
What am I afraid of? So that's back when I started running. I always wanted to do physical stuff, and I could never do it because the kids were small. But at that point, they were getting older, and I just started participating in things that I just wanted to do. So I started a whole running journey, went from just running.
running journey. I mean, she started running and she runs. Yeah, I would never be able to keep up.
I'm like, man.
So tell us some of that, because you've done how many marathons?
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Well, at this point, I've only done, well, because, marathon, a lot of people don't know this or don't think about it. A marathon is 26 miles, so at one time.
I'm probably going to walk
today.
Yeah. So I've only done, as of today, I've only done 3 of those, but I've done many.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
Right.
Only doesn't belong in that
I
sentence.
haven't done one.
I've only ran
Not
to the
even
car
close.
once, from the front door.
Not even close.
Oh, did it go to sleep? Angie, if you're on the live, we're trying to get you back. This gnat, you know what?
I know, it's like all over the place.
We
right?
cannot be friends today. We just cannot be friends today. Yes, Maria, the gnat is still here.
She
He
said
won't
the gnat's
leave.
still there?
Yes, she's asking.
Poor Maria. I'm glad she's on board
And
now.
it's making us look, so it doesn't look like I am not crazy. It's a friend in it.
It's always on you.
Oh my gosh. I've seen him over there, but it's like, why are you bothering me? Because he likes my little body spray or
I'm
something.
coming making his way around the table.
Or sweets, whatever. I forgot what did I guess
What you
say
have, the sweet mango?
No,
Oh, not
but
that.
whatever it is, there she is.
No, she was. Wait.
Oh, okay. Angie, please call back in. If you're live, give her 1 minute. She's gonna call back in and continue to share her journey with me. And I'll just kind of fill in while she's Angie was, like I said, when we were in college, she was full of energy, loved to dance, but now she every time I look at her timeline, she is running and doing, and she's actually the ambassador for quite a few, it seemed like several fitness companies or something, because she's really serious about her journey. There she goes.
Hello, Angie.
yes,
I'm so
lost
sorry.
you.
I lost y'all.
Right.
I'm so sorry, honey.
So, you were telling us that actually we were talking about you only running 3
Yeah, I'm
marathons.
still stuck on that.
Yeah, I think that's what shut the phone line down.
Right.
Well, I just know a lot of people who do way more marathons and Ironmans. So that's why I always say only. But it is an amazing thing to do. I will say that.
Yes,
It's not,
it is.
yeah. It's not easy. It takes a lot of training. But, the thing about running and things like that, sometimes once you get involved in these things, you realize how great it is, and you just keep wanting to do more. You want to stay a part of it because you realize all the benefits that come out of it. It's more than just just getting out on the pavement. It's it helps build confidence. It makes you feel good about yourself, and then you get stronger, and then you get in shape, and you start to lose weight. And
Yes.
and for me, and a lot of people say it's wrong to say something like this, but running a lot of times is my therapy. But not to say that that's the only therapy you should have, because you should still go out and get the therapy you need. But running just kind of helps me, clear my head and get rid of the anxiety and things that I have, and then just allows me to continue to combat things like cancer or whatever it is that comes at me. I almost feel like running is like my it's my weapon.
Yeah, and I mean you're a beast at it. So I mean, and it has to be that when you're running, you're kind of in your own headspace. So there's nobody running with you. You're not talking to anybody. You just in your own space.
She doing.
But because we're gonna get that only out of here. 'Cause that's not working for me. But also share with us, because you are ambassador for one of the fitness companies, or I saw something about that.
Yes, and being a part of like the running community, and then me being a cancer survivor, being a 2-time survivor, I think a lot of times people do approach me for different things because they see what I'm doing, and they see just the type of the folks that I engage with, and so I've gotten called in to be an ambassador for some of these things that I love doing. Because I love running. I love weight training. I love health and fitness and wellness and anything like that. So currently, I have a friend who has a community group that's called Run Social, and she puts on races throughout the year. So I'm always there to participate and help out and spread the word. And then when we most recently had a huge race here in Atlanta, which is really kind of the first time that a lot of us were able to put on a race for us, by us.
Okay.
And it was huge, and it was our second year, and it was just amazing. We had runners from all over the country that came just to be a part of it, running through historical neighborhoods in Atlanta, supporting Black businesses and
awesome.
and local nonprofits who service a lot of underprivileged or African Americans. So I mean, it was just a great thing. And then another thing is another company called Lace Up Fitness. And I will say the founder for this particular company, the reason he picked me because he saw me out training for my marathon or something, and I'm out on the I'm out there running all these miles, and he's somebody I knew when I was going through my most recent cancer battle, and he saw me because I shared my story, and
right.
He'd see me out running, going to chemo and then going for a run and still participating in races, and he saw me, and he said that when he saw me, he kind of high-fived me because we kind of passed by each other, and he kept on going. He said when he got home, he realized, because he was pulling people in for ambassadors, he realized he needed me to be a part of his, particularly the nonprofit side of his fitness company that he had just began. And he said, I need Angie. I need Angie to be a part of this because he wants me to help promote it for not only breast cancer, but for people, who are going through things, people who are, having, different cancers or just different diseases or problems, but they want to still participate and be physical and, and be involved in some of these races or fitness activities. And he just thought I would be the best spokesperson to help.
I agree.
To help promote that.
So he went past and said, "Oh, I just missed something." So he had to go fix that.
That's right.
Okay, before I forget, because I'll say I'm getting old, but we're the same age. But I wanted to bring up, we're going to talk about the aerial dance, how you got into that. But I also wanted to bring up, you were in a competition instead of Dancing with the Stars. What is the competition that you were in?
Yes, it was Dancing with the Stars of Cobb County, and it's a fundraising event that supports Loving Arms, which is it's a cancer nonprofit, and they basically provide services for people that are going through cancer treatment. So it's right up my alley. And of course, somebody recruited me because they know how much I love to dance.
Yes, you do. She was dancing
and I will tell you.
Oh my goodness.
I just love dancing, and it was probably one of the most fun things I've ever done. I mean, because it was just like Dancing with the Stars, but it was local, and a little bit low key. Not all the, we're not on TV or or any of those things.
Not yet. Yeah. And what place did you get?
And what was that?
What place did you get?
The funny thing about it, I know I killed it. I know I did a wonderful job. I had a great dance instructor. He did hip hop, so we did a whole montage of like jazz and hip hop. We ended up with Cardi B and I forget that other woman's name. It was amazing. So we actually tied for first place, and it was.
Awesome.
It was another a man and a woman doing ballroom dancing, and they were amazing too. So they made us do a dance off.
Oh, did they?
I'm sure that was a lot of fun though.
Is there a place where we can see
I
that?
was just thinking that, I would love to see that.
Is there
You know what? I can actually send you a link. I can send you a link to, this was the show last year.
Okay.
They had another one this year that I didn't participate in, but I can send you the link I can send it to Lisa of the entire show. And you'll get to see like all the stories and all the dancers, and I think you can even see the dance off. But I will say the reason why the other couple won, they ended up winning. They won because all of their supporters and their friends actually had more money because the dance off, which you had to go up and throw money at the people.
Okay.
While they were dancing.
Okay, well let us know next time.
They had more money.
I will make a trip down to Atlanta. That's right. That's a good idea. We'll cash app it to you and tell your daughters to throw it out. Just keep throwing it out there. Yeah, that is awesome.
No. And everybody was throwing, but we had smaller bills.
Right. Well, the smaller ones add up too. So, no, tell us. Okay, so tell us a little bit about how how you got into aerial dance.
What is aerial
Well, you know,
dance?
the funny
tell
thing
us
about
first what is aerial dance.
That's
Okay,
I
aerial-
haven't. I'm
so basically-
conceptualizing like.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, it's like Cirque du Soleil, but I mean not that
That is
intense.
awesome.
But you know, we do. It's like where you hang from like fabrics. Literally, they call them
Would
silks.
never be me.
So you're basically like pulling yourself up on silks and kind of twirling around and
That's
just being
That's a lot of strength.
graceful. And they also have it's not full blown trapeze because we're not like flying through the air, but they have like a dancing trapeze. So you're doing just like nice movements on apparatus like trapeze and I think liras, and I mean it's just beautiful.
Yes,
It's gorgeous to watch.
It is.
Yeah, it's just
I've
amazing.
seen it.
And the reason I got into it is my children, because my youngest was struggling in school, and she's a dancer. All my girls are dancers, but
Yes,
her
I
dance
know.
company had gone away, and she was struggling in school, and the teacher felt like she needed something to kind of keep her engaged, like a physical activity, because she's asked me, she said, does she really involved in any of these physical activities? I said, yeah. I said, but I haven't been able to find anything. And her teacher told me about the aerial dance studio. And so I immediately took her, and she's like a little monkey, and she just jumped right in. And she's hanging from the ceiling and twirling around, and then I think my other daughter started doing it too, and then my middle daughter wanted to do it, and she started, and she claimed she didn't want to, but she kept talking about it when we went to see the youngest, and she kept saying, oh, I can't do that, I'm afraid of heights, I can never do that, Mommy, I'm never going to do this. And I just looked at her, and I was like, I'm signing you up tomorrow. And so I signed her up, and she's a little thicker than her sisters, and she owned it. And then she started even like trimming down and losing a little weight, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can do it too.
That's right.
That is awesome.
That is
awesome.
And I just tried it. They had adult classes, and I said, wow, this is great. I did it I haven't been doing it as much lately. I've only been taking a class here or there, but I did it pretty heavily for like 5 or 6 years, or 6 or 7 years actually.
Yeah, I think I saw some video of you doing it, and I was just like,
yeah,
Angie does everything. Oh my gosh, represent for the 50, okay?
That's wonderful.
Yes, it's great for upper body strength. It just strength all around, and it just makes you feel great about yourself. And they would allow the adult students occasionally, they would allow us to do like little showcases and little shows where we could just go and show off what we learned, and it was great. I loved it. It's amazing. I highly recommend it. If you find out, even they have like what is that, yoga? They have aerial yoga where you can try where it's a little more simplified, but it's great. Good strengthening exercises.
Now, Angie, tell us a little bit before in your jewelry. Are you still selling your jewelry?
Yes, I do. I will admit I don't sell it as the way I used to, because I did a lot more when the kids were small. But I love making jewelry. It's very therapeutic, and I do have a website, but I will admit I have to build it up a little bit more. I used to have a full blown site, but life gets away from me sometimes.
Right.
And me, I'm running too many marathons, so it's hard to sit down.
Yeah, you can't do that and run at the same time, right? Well, I mean, I guess you could, but you're definitely going to make the newspaper and TV. But before we ask people how they can get in touch with you to follow you, share with us your second bout with cancer and how you conquered that.
Yeah, the second time around, I'll admit it was a little scarier. But just like my first time, I found it myself.
Okay.
I just happened to be, and I try to do self-breast exams. Self-breast exams are so important. I try to do them, but I will admit, sometimes I will forget. And so I do it whenever it just comes in my mind. Especially if I'm in a shower, if I'm laying down, or I see something on TV, I'll just do it. And I did that one morning. I woke up in a weird position with my arm over my head, and I didn't feel like getting up. And I was like, oh, well, I could just do a breast exam.
Right.
while I'm laying here. And I immediately felt around and felt another lump. It was the same breast, different location, but you know, it was definitely a lump. And so, you know, I went, and because you know, I have a doctor who I'd been seeing for years, I was able to just call her up and get in there, you know, get in there immediately, get in there the next day. And they put me through a lot of tests because they kept trying to say, oh, maybe it's just a cyst, maybe it's just this, but they did everything. And that day I went from an exam to a ultrasound, a biopsy, they did another mammogram, they did all of this in one day.
Right.
And at first they told me that I didn't have cancer, but because they couldn't find any through the biopsy. But after going back for my, they took my lump out because they said I had to have it removed regardless if it was cancer or not.
Right.
But then after they took my lump out, when I went back for my post-op, is when they told me yes, it was cancer again.
Oh, wow.
And this time it was frightening because you're like 10 years, you know, 10 years, I'm good. I'm out here living my life, just doing all kinds of things, and you know, and boom, there it is again, you know. But I thought the worst. Second time around, I'm like, oh my God, this must be something terrible. If it's come back, it's probably all to my body. It's, you know, I was convinced I was dying at that moment. Of course, we all going to die, but I just felt like it was about to happen.
Right.
Like really, really soon, and it was very stressful, but I just held it together. I maintained. I waited until I knew for sure what everything that I was going to undergo, everything that was happening. Mm-hmm. It took about a month to figure it all out. And at that moment is when I just accepted, you know, what was going on. I finally told my kids and everything. And you know, it turned out to be, you know, not entirely as bad as I thought it was going to be. This time I definitely had to have I had to have a mastectomy, had my breast removed. And they said the prognosis was good because I actually ended up catching it really early, just like I did the last time. Okay. But this time, at first they said no chemo, and I kind of rejoiced for the moment, like, yay, no chemo. But then I felt weird about it. I said, let me get another opinion just to make sure. So I went back for a second and then a third opinion. And they finally, I think one doctor was saying no, one was saying yes, one doctor was in the middle. The doctor who said yes gave me some statistics around my lump, my type of cancer, my type of lump. And she convinced me, yes, chemo.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, I hated to go through that again, but I said, you know what, I just, you know, Lord, I just need to do whatever it takes, you know, to try to be here, you know, for my family, for everybody. You know, I wanted to feel like I did everything that I could, you know, to fight it off. But this time I was pissed because I had this great life, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Right. Yeah, now you're bothering me. Right.
But you know what? I said this time around, I said, I'm not letting it stop me because I don't care if I'm getting chemo or if I'm going to the doctor, I'm doing this, that, or the other. Every single one of these days is mine. This is my day. I'm still here. I'm alive. So I'm going to do whatever I'm completely capable of doing without compromising my health. Awesome. So I just continue to live. And, you know, I ran as many races as I could. I participated in as many things as I could. I mean, of course I wasn't optimal, you know, physically, but I just did whatever I was capable of doing. And
well, you are motivating me every time I see you running. And look, I know nothing about running anywhere. I will do a walk in a minute, but I'm not
very strong.
I'm not running nowhere. But you are motivating so many people, and never feel like nobody's paying attention. I know we don't see each other. You know, it's been years since college. We won't age and all that, but we're not that old. So, but I'm still watching you and connecting with you, and let people know how they can follow you, where they can follow you on Instagram and Facebook, because you're doing amazing things. So somebody's watching.
Well, thank you. No, I love it. I love that people get anything from it, and if I can help anybody, you know, get up and walk, you know, walk, run. It just takes, you know, one foot in front of the other. Right. Anything you do is better than sitting on the couch. So
yes.
I definitely want to promote health and wellness. But yeah, if anybody wants to, you know, kind of see me or see what I'm doing, I have a, I guess it's I call it my running page. That's on Instagram, and it's just me and all my workouts and all the things that I do. And my Instagram it's It's Angie1. That's ANGIEONE. Wait, is that the right one?
Yeah.
No, okay, no. Wait. I have two. Wait, this one is no, it's Angie Runs 16.
Okay.
Yeah, Angie Runs 16. That's my Instagram page, and then of course on Facebook, I'm Angie O'Neill, and I also have a jewelry Instagram, and it's just Angie_O'Neill_designs. So Angie
Okay.
O'Neill Designs.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yes.
I just followed you.
Okay,
See if I can
great.
get some motivation.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I don't know what's going on with this speaker, but thank you so much, Angie, for
Oh, you're
joining
welcome.
us.
You're
And if
welcome.
you
Thank
can-
you. Thank
yeah,
you
if
for
you
letting me
can-
be a part of this. This show sounds great. You guys sound awesome.
And you know I support. I know I talk about my high school friends, but I also talk about my college sisters because
Yes.
my Spelman sisters are doing some wonderful things. And I'm so glad we stay connected because you're actually from DC, right?
And from DC? Yes.
Yes.
I was born there.
Yes, she was,
Yes, that's
because
my
I think
hometown.
that's how we connected even in Spelman.
Yes.
Because we were both
Yes.
from here, but we were down there in the South doing our thing. But you're still down there.
Yes, still here in Atlanta. As a matter of fact, Maria and I took another picture yesterday
Packard Hall.
in front of Packard. I
have to come one year so I can be in the picture.
Yes, you do. You need to come.
Yes, I missed the picture. Okay. But I love you all.
All
So
right.
thank you so much. And see if you can stay on, please do.
And thank you so much, Angie.
Yes.
for sharing
Oh,
your
you're
journey.
welcome.
Yes,
Thank you
that's
for having me.
That's awesome.
I love it.
And because we have another 2-time survivor in the house.
And
And
Okay.
we're going to, I'm trying to move my camera around, so y'all bear with me. But we're going to talk to Shalita. And are you sure it's not my mic?
I think it is.
Maybe it's moving. Okay, all right, Mike. But we're actually going to talk to Shalita Lyons. She is a 2-time cancer survivor, but Shalita and I what grade, what?
87.
You came out 87. She came out
Best
after
class.
me.
She said,
Love
You
our
know
warriors,
what?
but we all with some warrior sisters, but she came out a little after me. I'll venture to say 86 was the best, but we still all family, yes. So I want you, I want you to just share your journey and what you're doing now. Tell us about your journey, because it's a
journey.
it's a big deal.
Well, first of all, I want to say happy cancerversary to all of the breast cancer survivors in the world.
Absolutely.
You know, as a breast cancer survivor, we go through quite a lot. It's similar to what you talked about, Ty, with mental health awareness. People being afraid of sharing their stories or even what they're going through. But I myself was diagnosed with breast cancer twice in the same year, 2016. And just like Angie, I wasn't doing a self-exam, but I was putting on lotion after getting out the shower. And I felt a little pea-sized, knot in my, right here in my upper right breast area. And I knew it wasn't something that I should, have felt. It wasn't normal. I had my mammogram for that year, and I wasn't scheduled to go for another 2 months. But I asked my daughter to fill it, my husband, and they were like, yeah, Mom, go get yourself checked. So I always get a physical in December, my birthday year, every year.
What's your birthday?
December 10th.
Yes, ma'am. It's Sagittarius. It's mine.
14, yes.
Okay, so we got some.
Birthday.
Is it?
Yeah. So,
Right, I'm like, I don't share that.
We gotta wait a whole year for our birthday, so I'm kind of proud. I'm sorry.
Everybody got to wait a whole year for
I
their
mean, but no,
birthday.
I'm saying we're at the end of the year.
but they say the best for last.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We'll let y'all have that.
Because Christmas is during this.
So I was scheduled to go and get a physical, and I went to see my internal medicine doctor. She said it, didn't feel normal. She sent me immediately to get a mammogram, and after the mammogram, I went to get a sonogram, and then not a sonogram, but a ultrasound, and then I had a biopsy, and I'll never forget the call. I was driving my neighborhood, and the doctor said, are you driving? I just knew that was bad news.
Right.
So I sat in my car for a while before I went in the house. And when I walked in the house, my husband, he can tell by the look on my face that, it was bad news. So he told me to get all your crying out now.
I know that's right.
And I want to say I probably cried for 2 days straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the best thing for me to do was to send a text message out, because you're emotional. Every person you talk to, you'll break down and cry again. So I just sent a text message out, telling people, my diagnosis. It was stage 1.
Okay.
So it was very small. But this was new. I was the first in my family to be diagnosed. And, I had the hereditary test, and they didn't find anything, came back negative. But it was the beginning of my journey. And so I had a lumpectomy. I never knew what a lumpectomy was until they told me, that's what they recommended, which is the removal of your breast cancer, your cancer and the surrounding tissues. So I did that. I didn't know that had I had a choice to actually get the breast removed right then and there, I probably would have done it. It's something that I tell women like to do now, because being diagnosed twice, that's just like you're going through that same hurt and pain again. So when I went back for my checkup, the doctor said, oncologist, well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. They told me to have chemo and radiation. And I said no. My oncologist pretty much was adamant, saying, cancer is like a dandelion. Wherever it lands, another one grows. And I kept asking her, you're telling me to do chemo and radiation, but tell me what I can do holistically so that I won't have to put those harmful, substances in my body. And she never did. So let's just say moving forward, when I got my checkup from the oncologist again, she said I feel lumps, in the same area, go back for the testing, same thing, mammogram, ultrasound, biopsy. I'm numb at this time, like, wow, I just hope and pray that it's not. So it was. I was going to do chemo, and I went to get my port installed. And the port, they wanted to put, when you have a lumpectomy, you can't have your blood drawn or, things on the same side, because they take out your lymph nodes. So they wanted to put it on my left side, the port, and for some reason the port didn't fit. The doctor said, it's not going through your vein, it's supposed to be straight, but it's crooked or something. So we need to get in touch with your oncologist to find out if it can go on your right side. So they got in touch with the oncologist, and they said, we need to go ahead and put it on the right side, but we can't do it today. So I went home. That was the first day that I actually researched. And for 3 days straight, it was like Noah's Ark. 3 days straight, day and night, I Googled and I searched. And I came across this guy named Ty Bollinger, who he is on a quest. He goes all around the world, just pretty much finding out about different cancers. And he interviews everybody that's involved with the whole field of it, not just breast cancer. But he talked to oncologists, gynecologists, and what I learned was, let's just say the medicinal industry is $1 billion industry.
Absolutely.
And you think about chemo. I don't know if you all have ever experienced or been close to a person that has gone through chemo. I haven't, but I've heard stories. I've heard stories of when you go through chemo, each you may have several side effects, and every side effect is a different medicine. So think about it. Oncologists get kickbacks when they tell you to have chemo. So I was very surprised when Angie said that the doctors told her not to have, chemo the second time, because normally it's money driven, and that's what they want. They get a kickback. So I just decided no, you see the hazardous sign that's on the outside of the door. They're walking in scrubs. They don't even want whatever's in that room touching
Right.
outside of their body.
That's
so
so true.
why would I want whatever's in there to go on the inside of my body?
Absolutely.
So I just said, this is when, Dr. Sebi, everybody was like, listening to him and, so I just researched and said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just try my best to just go holistically and rely on my faith. And that's what I did. I'm a couponer. So, I mean, I get food, back then was getting food for free just about. And I can remember when I decided not to have my chemo and radiation every Sunday to keep me smiling and to keep my spirits uplifted. I had something in my house called Shalita Still Smiling Sundays. Every Sunday, my friends and family would come over. We would feast, fellowship, have fun, play cards, listen to music, everything. And that's what kept me smiling. Okay. At the same time, I wanted to educate other people on why I decided not to do it. And to bring up my coupon, and I had all this stuff in my pantry, and one day, I can remember Amber, and she might have left, but I can remember my friend, she was in a bad car accident, and she was on a cane, and I just remember saying, everybody, I have a lot of stuff up for grabs in the dining room, so whoever wants. And she grabs, they were knocking her down with her cane. Everybody was trying to go get this free food because I just was giving it away. I didn't want to have all of the, I wanted to start like my organic and vegan. So moving forward, I still eat organic. I still eat vegan. The Beyond
meat burgers.
Yeah, I bought some of those today with coupons. So I bought some of that with coupons today, and I've had it at Cookhouse, and they're very good.
They're very good.
But pretty much everything in my house, I would say maybe 80% of all my foods is organic. But my husband and kids were on board when I decided to, take this holistic approach. I don't take vitamins anymore. You can get vitamins and minerals from foods. I think that pill thing is just something that you watch the commercials and you see you're taking something and all of these side effects. It may cause blood thinners or all these different things. It's like I don't want to put that in my body, so I try my best. Just to stay free of all of those different toxins that you can put into your bodies. At the same time, like I said, I educate women on what they should be doing. Don't wait for a diagnosis with anything, whether it's cancer, diabetes, or anything, before you decide to make a life-changing decision about your health. Most people go to the doctors and they decide, the doctor said I need to stop eating sugars and cut out this, that, and the other, and that's when they do it because they're afraid. You can do it now. And that wellness part and the health of working out, if you ever go get a physical, the questions that your doctors ask you is, do you exercise? You think they ask that for just anything? That's right. They want to know what you're putting into your body because exercise is really a part of your life that you should be doing, whether it's a speed walk or, if you're just taking a walk in your neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? I can't do what Angie said, I can't. The running thing, I just can't even get my breathing right with that.
Yeah, anybody running like Angie. You run for me, right, Angie? Run for Lisa.
But your diet is definitely the most important thing.
Diet.
How hard was that, though?
I've always been a slim person, but organic and vegan foods, especially organic, the same foods that you find, chicken breast, turkey meat, everything, wild caught fish, of course, cut out the farm raised, it's just, you gotta, it tastes the same. It's all about
your
mindset. That's right.
Because I'm a pescatarian, but I gauge more to vegan, and I eat a lot of the Beyond Meats or the Impossible Burgers, that type of thing. But it's just a mindset.
I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah,
encourage y'all based on the reason why.
I
don't want to eat chicken no more, but
I was a pescatarian until I said,
the fish,
I think I like
sometimes a lot of the fish that I was gauging to was bottom feeder, so that's not necessarily good either. So eating cleaner, like she's saying with the organic and eating the vegetables and knowing that those, they come from the ground, that type of thing.
It looks so much cleaner, it's fresher, the food lasts longer.
It does.
It costs a little bit more.
It costs more,
but they have coupons for organic and vegan.
And I'm gonna tell you a good company. I ain't trying to put them out there, though, but But I do use. I'm starting to use this purple carrot.
They're a good vegan company. Check them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carrot.
They're
Okay.
I just like reading through all their stuff. They're very good.
Okay. When I was just gonna mention, because you did say, now I haven't, I was never diagnosed with breast cancer, but when I went around the age that Angie went, I went early, being a overachiever, and I'm like, I'm gonna go and get mine done early, and they found something. So of course it is just saying that you're, so I went through, I had to go through surgery because they have to remove it. And at that moment, when they do that, the scary, what some people don't realize is that they treat you as if you are a cancer patient. So at that moment, that's what I was until they found out either way. So they changed my diet almost immediately, and that's when I was changing it. But that's when I found out, and I think that I couldn't have like Kool-Aid, because Kool-Aid has caffeine in it, and I didn't know that.
Girl, and all that shit.
But then, because when they told me to cut out Kool-Aid, I was like, look, you cut out all this other stuff, but what is this? I can't have Kool-Aid, but when I knew that, but and I still don't,
I think it's because the sugar, like,
and I never drank it after that, but, they made Kool-Aid, but I never, it never dawned on me that that's what was going on with Kool-Aid, things that you get cut out, that you have to cut out Kool-Aid, but, I mean, they literally, like, treat you as if that's what it is, and you have to wait. So the waiting game was really hard for me, because I didn't know what to do, and being 30 something like Angie, being that young and trying to figure out, I just couldn't wrap my head around what am I supposed to do about this. And I recently went to the doctor and found out, they gave me blood pressure medicine, and I've never had issues with my blood pressure, so I'm just kind of looking at the doctor like, I don't want those, I'm gonna go through it. But I mean, I'm gonna 2 weeks to test out, see what's going on, because I mean, we do have to do that self-care thing, and the older you get, what I'm struggling with is realizing that your body goes through changes, and it doesn't fight these things the same way, so you gotta be on top of it now.
Those healthier foods,
they make a difference.
My mother, I could just remember seeing her eat her meals changing, cooking beans or mostly greens and this, that, and the other. I see myself heading in the same direction. And think about all those vegetables and fruits that you eat. You're replenishing your body.
I love all that. I just love some of the other stuff too. But I don't do that bad with it. But I mean, because I used to be a pescatarian when I lost the 51 pounds. But it was a mindset, and it wasn't. But you know what? It wasn't intentional either. I was not trying to be a pescatarian. I was not. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to chew. I didn't want to chew anything that was going to get lodged in my throat. There were other reasons that I got there, but I learned what works. So even though I don't do it like I'm supposed to do it, what frustrates me is that I know better. I just have to get that's what told me what the mindset was. Cause but you just
my cravings.
I don't have it up here.
My discipline with food is it's like a love affair. I mean, it's just kind of like you say, better, but it's just like
it's got to be in the mind. Nobody can tell you on a certain level.
But I love food. So my only dilemma as far as being on the vegan pescatarian side is that after you eat vegetables and the fish, and then you try, okay, well, what else do I want to eat?
You have to imagine
I'm not
being
a snacker though, because I'm not
like
like a chip person or a candy person. I'm not that kind of person either. So it's like my snack will be, okay, let me get some kale chips. You know what I mean? So
no, I'm not
it's
there.
just trying to. I know you're not there, but that was me for me.
But I mean, I don't eat chips that much. But kale chips is like I don't.
And I make kale chips never the last.
I actually make them. You just make them.
But I mean, I have a lot of friends that eat
myself to eat fruit for snacks. Like I try to, just to substitute, and that's I guess that's what you're talking about, like just substituting some of the things and trying to find how it's going to give you that same satisfaction.
It's really
and you're saying don't wait.
You don't buy it. Don't wait. Like I just don't buy it too much anymore. If you don't buy it, you don't see it, you're not gonna eat it.
Right.
And your journey is phenomenal because the concept of you. And I do question the fact of, and knowing the industry of medical industry, being past working, and I understand the concept of thinking about, really, like you said, that has a side means something. But how many people I daily look at it, sometimes they look at it for the fact that, okay, I've heard this works for everybody else, or this may work to help save my life. But doing the research and how you've done it for yourself, I commend you. I know one individual, and he's a guy, has prostate cancer, and that's one of the things he adamantly states: do not take chemo. Do not. There are ways to do it, and he's a survivor too. And I'm not suggesting. I mean, I'm not a doctor, y'all. I'm not by far saying that. But I'm just. I mean, it depends on them, and it's the mindset. I mean, but you've never had to do it, right?
Well, they told me to have it both times,
right?
But I still elected not to do it. You know, there are days, you know, and times when I question if I made the right decision. My thing is, you know, just like Angie said, you can have chemo and radiation, and it can still come back.
Right.
So that's my thing. I just didn't want to put, you know, put it in my body because there's a chance of a recurrent whether or not you have chemo.
Right.
Or whether or not you don't, you know. So that was just the best decision for me.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
that's
each
all
his
it's
own,
about.
you know. And
it's your
sometimes
own
when
decision.
I you know, give people my story, so I at the same time will still get phone calls, inbox messages with women saying, you know, I got a friend or family member that was diagnosed. Can you talk to them, share your story? This is what's been happening over the years. Or I got somebody, or I'm afraid to have a mammogram. I don't want to go. You know,
It's intimidating.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it can be very scary.
I had mine Friday.
I just had my first one this year,
Okay.
and I just kind of just did it because I have breast cancer, you know, survivors in my family.
Okay.
So it was just one of those things.
Yeah.
Where I
That's
was just
a good
like,
thing.
wait.
Yeah.
I was like, let me, you know, check. But it was just scary even for them to say,
Right.
we need to check it again. Or I'm like, wait a minute. Like you
Right.
said, when you waiting, and I'm like,
Yeah, that way.
I should not have to wait for this. Like you need to be telling me this like right now.
Right now.
Like so it could be, it's scary. So just to go through, you
That's
know,
the frustrating part too.
Yeah.
Getting those tests, and they talking about you gotta wait for hear back from your
I'm
doctor.
like, are you
Well,
serious?
no, they give you results immediately now. So I mean, I don't know if it's
went,
very, but I went on Friday, and 2 hours later, I had my results. So
From your doctor or from them?
well, I
They
did
called
it
your
at my
doctor and they called.
Well,
No, I'm saying
they'll
they
normally
talk.
tell you if they find something because they look at
See, they never did
the
that.
X-rays or the, you know, they look at
Right.
it there, right?
Yeah.
There. And if
So
it's
when I
something
went,
that-
they did my exam, and then they said we'll have your results within an hour. And
I think I
then
had to
they
wait
sent
like-
me an email, and I
Yeah, I
lost
had to
it.
wait because they told my doctor would let me know because that's who you getting the.
Only
Oh,
reason
from
I got
God.
a message from my doctor is when they found
found
something.
something, okay.
Other than that, they sent actually, and I worked through my. If they have, you know, they sent me a link to my.
Like a
they
portal?
might make you wait because they
Like a
have like a portal.
Mhm.
So I was able to go in, log in, and see that
And it could have
everything was
been
fine.
because of your prior testing.
It could have been.
Yeah.
And I know that they check. They have me do it. I think a little more often because
Yeah.
they found something before.
So I do have a question. Go ahead.
Oh no, because I was going to ask you or Angie, like when it goes to testing yourself,
Right,
You know,
that's-
for women, you know, like I'm always curious as to kind of know, and even still, like ever, you know, well, how do I know what?
You need to ask your oncologist, but if you do a self-exam, like they have pamphlets on that, you know, and it tells you what to look for, what to feel for, but your oncologist will tell you pretty much what you should pretty much be, I guess, concerned about if you feel something that's strained, because we have a lot of tissue in the area,
Exactly.
right? So you don't know if it's
like
tissue or if it's a
Like mine was
cyst
just a
or if it-
mass, so it wasn't anything but.
I've always wanted to know too, and I'm just asking.
And Angie, you can
because you're a
chime in,
survivor.
too.
She hung up.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah. As a survivor, is there any other symptoms that you had?
Oh yeah.
Oh, any other? No.
That was it.
No, that was it. I was just putting lotion on. That's it.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
I guess, and the second time the doctor found it. You know, I missed it the second time. But I do want to speak how, you know, when women will reach out to me, and I will educate them still, it inspired me to start my nonprofit organization called She Still Smiles. Because I wanted to
Would you just
pretty
show
much-
your shirt?
Yeah, she still smiles.
Yeah, she
Yes.
still smiles. Love it.
Now, are you out of the DC, Maryland, DC, Virginia area?
Yes.
Okay.
My mission, our mission rather, is to inspire hope, educate, provide moral support, and financial
Awesome.
assistance to breast cancer survivors in the DMV.
Okay.
We just started in April of this year.
Congratulations.
Big things, thank you. Big things are coming. So we have, you know, a lot more things to do before we actually start providing assistance to the breast cancer survivors. But I do know that breast cancer not only lives within women, it lives within men. So one day this will say he still smiles. We all still smile. I don't know. But, I am on Facebook. I am on Instagram and Twitter. Under She Still Smiles. And if you know of anybody who is going through, just needs to have some type of guidance, I'm here to speak to you. And please, women, get your mammograms. Do not be afraid, because it is very important. Even talk to your daughters about it. Just like Angie said, when you're in the bed watching television, it takes a quick second just to do it. But everybody's story is different. Just because I decided not to do chemo or radiation doesn't mean the next person will. And I talk to women all the time. Cancer moves aggressively, and even if they tell you it's not aggressive, it's a fear factor for a lot of women. But as they are going through this journey, the main thing is that you want to come out of that fight being a warrior. We say a warriorette, because we're women, but we are warriors. So I pray that we take our lives more important than what you did before. Because some women they are afraid. And that fear, you got to do it, because it wouldn't be fair to your family members if something was to happen to you because you elected not to do something.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. I hope that I can inspire somebody out there.
And I will
absolutely. You
very
inspired.
I will just share
I'm
too
sure.
that Viola is who
She's on my board.
Yes, Viola went to she graduated 87 too. But she is a survivor.
Yes.
So they have been through this journey, and it's kind of awesome to know somebody who you went to high school with actually went through the same journey you went through. The conversations can be very uplifting to know what I went through, what you went through, and so you all are making, you all are helping others, because there's a lot more people who are getting diagnosed and finding out things. And like I said, I wasn't diagnosed, but it was a scary process until the day.
That is scary.
And you literally have to wait for results.
Yeah.
So that was, I can't even explain how terrified I was, just because you don't know. So it takes strength, and that's one of the reasons I do the walk, the 39-mile walk.
Yeah, that I'm going to be doing next year.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I do it, because I know the scare part of it. And having to go all the way through surgery and having to remove it and find out if it's benign or whatever, all of that was in that moment. I was that person. So I'm like, if I went through that and was terrified, imagine that moment that you get the other, answer.
Absolutely.
And for that reason, that's a whole nother level of strength that I didn't have to exercise necessarily. So you all are. I mean,
awesome.
it's strong.
And your smile is great, honey. Yes, it's great.
So thank you all so much.
You.
This was a wonderful way to
welcome.
end the October month for Girls Gabbin.
I didn't realize this was the end
These
of
stories,
October.
I know.
Yep,
Yeah,
already.
We're getting ready to come up on December.
Yes. Finally, look, finally.
Finally.
I'll be 50 this year, so I have much to celebrate for.
Absolutely, you do. You do. Well, as always, Lisa, is there anything else you want to add before we come to a close?
No, I am very, very happy with how everything went this month. We had mental health awareness. We had breast cancer. We had domestic violence on the show. We really kind of touched on every subject for this month, which I'm really happy about. And we need to, make it a point to not just wait for October to do it. So we'll definitely be bringing people in and bringing you all back, hopefully. So thank you all so much. We appreciate it. This was great.
Survivors who joined in today.
She's I also want to say, as Girls Gabbin is gearing up for next year, we're looking to be more into the community and doing things for for breast cancer awareness and mental health awareness and other things. So look out for us doing some stuff coming in next year because we're super excited about that. Because this will be a year coming up for us being on the air.
January 6th.
January 6th. Yes.
Yes.
That will be awesome.
So growth is in the air.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank all of our guests for October and throughout the whole, year thus far.
Yes.
As always, you can reach us, Lisa Dove Washington and Andrea Riley individually. Girls Gabbin on Facebook. You can download the app WinDC Radio, powered by Go Win Media. We thank you. We're on the air each and every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. We
little
sometimes.
after
We're going a little bit late, but it's okay.
Time.
We have a great
time. That's right. We enjoy it.
But any of you all that are wanting to join us, you're more than welcome. And I'm still looking for Andrea and Riley, but
you're still looking for her.
I'm still looking for her.
Oh, because we found just for fun, real quick, we found, and we're gonna keep going until she finds Andrea Riley. I know that sounds really crazy,
Riley.
but I actually was Googling myself. A month or this month. It was this month she was on earlier this month.
No, September.
Okay,
September.
But I was Googling myself just to check and make sure there's nothing crazy out there. Because I have been, because you have businesses out there. I do because there is you have businesses and your pictures get attached to stuff. So I just kind of want to look, and I found it was Lisa Washington out there. So I was just kind of like, that's not my picture. So I looked at her, and she was a newscaster, news anchor out of Philadelphia. Yeah, and so I went to Twitter because it was mostly on Twitter that it kept coming up. So I went to Twitter and I followed her, and so she inboxed me. I know, so she DM'd me.
Same exact name.
Yeah, Lisa D. Washington.
Yeah,
so I DM'd. Well, she DM'd me after I followed her because all I did was follow her. But then she DM'd me and she was like, Lisa D. Washington. Who is,
like, who is this?
And what does the D stand for? And then she said, oh, okay, Dove. And then I responded and said, yes, I saw your name. And I was like, I have to just talk to her. And so we actually exchanged numbers and started to talk and found out that we had a lot more in common than we thought.
Wow.
And she actually started here in her career on Fox 5.
Fox 5.
And
we're trying to get her back. But
yes, it was a whole bunch. That's right, we are, and we know some of the same people. And she's not that far away, so we are going to pull her back into the studio when she comes.
So the challenge is
it was fun. So I told Andrea, I said, when I first told Andrea, she was like, okay. Look,
I said it was a great idea.
I posted on my page and said, I can't wait to interview Lisa D. Washington. And some of my friends were inboxing me saying, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm here if you need me. I was like, no, I'm not. I didn't say anything at first because I wanted to, but then I was like, they're going to think I'm, So I was like, no, I met somebody. They're like, yeah, okay. So I think even the day of the show, they were wondering, like, who's going to be on this show? So I said, Andrea, go out there and Google yourself. And she was like, Google myself. Like,
so that's where it comes from.
Yeah, so we're still looking
so what's
for
on?
Andre.
I don't know what she had, but
she's out there.
She's out there somewhere.
We got to get the middle initial in, though.
Yeah,
so
it has to be Andrea N. Riley.
And she's out there somewhere. And she's probably going to be close, too.
I know. She's coming.
It's scary, too, though.
It is scary. I'm like, that's
yeah, because you could be somewhere, and it could be somebody where you're like,
right.
So it was fun though.
So it was a lot of fun.
So that show is still to come, and we're going to have Andrea and Andrea because when you posted it, you said Lisa D. Washington meets Lisa. Something you said that made us sound crazy again, right? And they were like, okay, I don't know.
Both of them crazy. I don't know what's going on with them. They really confused.
So we're gonna get crazy again when Andrea comes on to meet Andrea.
So we want to thank our guests. I don't know why this
is crazy.
Yeah. But thank you all so much, Ty. Thank you so much, Miss Shine. Miss Smile, excuse me.
Thank you.
We definitely want to thank you, ladies. This has been a great show. We look forward to you coming back. And again, we're on each and every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m. Thank you all and good night.
Good night.
Let me just call him.